Using particle systems in Adobe After Effects, you can create some amazing special effects for any sort of project. I'm going to show you how we can begin to use particles. You can create anything from falling snow to fire to magic spells to stars to crazy animated backgrounds. Particle systems offer versatile and customizable means to create interesting sorts of graphics and special effects. You can create anything from subtle animations to wild and crazy types of physics-based effects. Let's take a look at how we can use particles. To start off with, I will just create a solid. You need to attach particles to some sort of element. In order to use particles, you'll go to your effects and you're going to open your simulation settings. As you can see, there are a bunch of different options that are available for you here. In most of the particle systems, you'll create a particle emitter. This is the point on the screen at which the particles will be generated. And then you'll set the number of particles. I'll start off by just dragging the particle system 2 to my solid. Once you do this, you'll have the effects that you can augment. Now by default, if we scrub through the timeline, this particular particle already creates animation for us. We can control and augment many of these settings. Let's take a look. The various particles are going to have different sorts of effects associated with them, but many have similar sorts of concepts. This particle system is one of the most basic particle systems that are available. It's a good one to start off with when you begin practicing using particle systems. This particular effect is limited to what you can render on the X and Y axes. The birth rate is going to control the amount of particles. You can see as I reduce this value down, I will get less particles appearing within my composition. Longevity is how long the particles are going to stay on the screen. If we up this value, each individual particle will remain on the screen for a slightly longer amount of time. If you open these settings, you'll be able to use a slider to adjust them rather than using a value. The producer is the actual setting that's going to control the radius as well as the position for where we want our particles to start from. If we click on this icon and then simply click somewhere new within our composition, you'll see that the particle origin is going to move to a new location. In addition to that, we can adjust the X and the Y values. This will control the spread of the particles and where they're going to be placed on your composition. Just by making these subtle changes, you can see how I've greatly augmented the settings that we had before. The physics area contains all sorts of different settings. Right now I'm using explosive, but if we change this to vortex, you will see that the particles are going to act in a different sort of way. They're actually going to be spinning around as if they're in some sort of tornado. There's many different settings that you can experiment with within this pull-down menu. The velocity is going to control the speed of the particles. If we adjust this, we can speed them up or slow them down. Gravity is going to affect how the particles are going to be affected by weight. You can experiment with a variety of these settings so that you can control just about every sort of aspect of the particles. If we go into the particle area, this will allow us to control the particle type. There are many different particle types available, and as you can see, when we make changes to these, the particle types are going to change significantly. So here I've changed the lines to display more of a faded sphere. In addition to this, we have a lot of different settings. Once you augment these settings, you can then go ahead and make changes to the size of the element. So as you increase the birth size, this is the size at which the particles start. The death size is going to be the size of the particles when they decay or disappear. So if we reduce this value down, you're going to see that now my particles are going to go from being large to getting smaller. In addition to this, you can also control the size variation. If you want more variation, up the percentage value of this. Then you can control how the particles are going to appear or disappear. We can also control the colors of our particle. So if I change the birth color to something else, you can see that I can drastically change the way that the particles are going to appear and how they're going to look on my animation. The random seed will allow you to make random settings to your particles. If we increase this value significantly, all of the values that we have been experimenting with are going to become more random. So even from just adding this simple particle effect, you can see that I can create a very interesting and compelling sort of background. The options are basically endless. Let's go ahead and hide this solid layer and we'll create a new solid. I'll just use the same color for right now. And let's add the particle playground to this new solid. The particle playground is somewhat similar to what we looked at before, but you can see that the type of particles and the way in which they are expressed is going to be different. This one has slightly different settings. If we go into this pull-down menu, we can go ahead and adjust any of these settings. You can make changes to any of the settings that have to do with the particles. In addition, you can animate these settings. By animating these settings, you can create some really wonderful sorts of animations. Even here, if I just go ahead and make some changes to some of the parameters, let's also set keyframes for direction and the random velocity setting. As you can see, if we play our animation, we get something that's completely different and going to move and be manipulated over the course of our composition. There are all sorts of settings that you can experiment with, and I would just encourage you to play around with some of these. Let's look at another particle type. Once again, I'll make a new solid, and then I'll go ahead and hide my other layers. I'll go ahead and I'll add the CC ball action to my solid. This one doesn't look like anything by default, but if you begin to experiment with some of these settings, you'll start to see balls appearing within your composition. We can go ahead and make modifications to any of these settings. If we up the grid spacing, you'll start to see the balls a little bit better. And actually, let me go into my solid settings. And if we make the composition background a little bit lighter, these will be easier to see. I'll go ahead and click OK. This particular particle system is going to take on its initial color by the color of the solid. And since my solid was fairly dark and it was sitting on a black background, it was difficult to see. But as you can see, if we come in here and start to experiment with these settings, we can really get some interesting types of results. Once again, all of these properties are keyframeable. So you can go ahead and turn on keyframing for any of these settings. I'm just going to go ahead and set a keyframe at about 4 seconds. I'll click U to open up the keyframe settings, and I'm just going to have this be my ending point. Now I'll move back to keyframe 1, and we're just going to zero all of these things out. Now I have something that is much more structured, but if we play the animation, you can see that it very quickly becomes more random and gets kind of crazy over the duration of the 4 seconds. There are so many different ways in which you can experiment and have fun with these various sorts of effects. Let's make one more solid, and I'm just going to share one more particle effect with you. This time we're going to apply the particle world effect. This is going to look very similar to the particle systems too. The difference is that this particular effect allows you to work in 3 dimensions. I'll leave my playback head a couple seconds out so we can see what the changes are going to do. Let's start by adjusting the animation settings. I'm going to open up the particle category, and we're going to change the type of element. I'm going to use a motion polygon. Let's open up the physics setting, and instead of explosive, I'm going to change this to twirly. As you can see, if we scrub through the timeline, the particles are going to move in a completely different pattern. If we adjust the gravity setting, this is going to dictate how slowly the particles will fall. If we set this to 0, that is going to represent no gravity at all. So you will see that my particles are going to stay at their original location. If we up this setting even slightly, then the particles are going to slowly start to move down to the bottom part of my composition. If we look in the producer, you can see how I can control these particles in the X or horizontal, the Y or the vertical, and in the Z position. As you make changes to any of these settings, you can easily get completely different results. One of the cool things that you can do with this particular particle is you have all of these different settings that are preset in regards to the shape, which will completely change the look of the particular element. If you use any of the textured features, you'll be able to apply your own sort of artwork. You'll need to go into the texture area, and here is where you can adjust the texture or the artwork that you're going to use. So let me bring something else into my project that we can use. I'll go into my project settings, and I'm going to just drag my spaceship into my project. Now we'll go back to this particular layer, and let's go to our effects. If we go to texture layer, we can now choose the spaceship as our texture layer. Now, if we scrub through, you're not going to see much happening, and that's because the spaceship is very small. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to adjust the birth size and the death size in order to control this. So I'm going to make the birth size much larger, as well as the death size. And now you can see I have a much more randomized type of feature with my particles. Now you will notice that the artwork does not look like the spaceship. The spaceship is pretty complex. This particular type of effect is going to work better with something a little bit more simple. Here I've added another element into my project. This is just a artwork of a fish. If we go ahead and change this from the spaceship to the blowfish layer, you will see that the particles are now going to use that particular artwork. Now, obviously, because of the settings we have within this particular particle, the fish are recognizable, but they're also very jumbled together. This will allow you to create some very interesting sorts of features. But let me just warn you that the more complex the artwork that you're going to use for the particles, the longer the render time may be, and the more altered the artwork might appear. All of these things can be manipulated by the settings that we've used within the particle effect, so keep this in mind as well. I would encourage you to experiment around with the various particles that we have. You can use them for all sorts of things. In this particular composition, I just used the particles on the stars, and I made a subtle effect, so I just had some stars moving, which added a little extra dimension to this particular project. You can use particles for wild and crazy types of effects, or you can use them to augment things in more realistic ways. Take a look at using particles and incorporate them into your projects. I think you'll be able to get a lot of mileage from the particle effect within After Effects.